Hey, welcome back to another episode of CX Riot Radio, where we talk about customer experience and stuff still in a hyper caffeinated state. I'm David. I'm your host. I'm the caffeinated CXO. And let's get started on this episode. This episode is for the customer service reps, the CSRs, the ones that are taking your phone calls. And this, to be even more specific, is for the ones in your trades call center, in your blue collar call center. So we're talking about the people that do customer service and book appointments for the trades, plumbing, HVAC, electricians, so on, so forth. So, and a lot of things have been bugging me lately in the industry. And this goes beyond just the trades. This is all customer service, but regardless. All right. So this isn't going to be a rah motivational speech about how great customer service is. We already know that customer service is important. We know that you should invest in your customer service. We all know this. Do we practice that? Not always, but we at least know it. And knowing is half the battle, at least according to G.I. Joe. So we're going to talk about what kind of job the CSR should be doing, right? So, what is it? Is it just booking leads? No, it's not just that. That is the pinnacle of being helpful for a trade's CSR, but it is not the only thing because the initial phone call, the initial interaction between the customer and the CSR, well, that is when the sale begins. That is when the service begins. See, marketing is cool, right? I love marketing. I like that. And you can have the prettiest billboards, the flashiest banner ads, the best looking vans on the freeway. But customers are only paying half attention to that stuff, right? When they call in, let's face it, after they Googled you, when they call in, all that stuff is half forgotten, half remembered. And they're judging their next minute and a half to 2 minutes on the voice of the CSR. So there's two ways that the CSR can take the call. There's three ways, really, and I'll get into that third option in a second. But there are order takers who are the button clickers, the script readers, the human chatbots, the human form fills, and then there's the opportunity makers. These are the professionals. These are the killers. These are the people who want to move the needle and close the appointment. So which one are you? Hmm? Which one are you? Which one would you rather have in your blue collar call center? I know which one I'd rather have, but I'm not you. I can't make that decision. So here's the thing. With the human form fills, guess what? We can automate that. We don't need a human being to just act like a form fill. That's boring. That turns people off. And honestly, let's face it, especially now, it is much cheaper to build an AI voice bot that automatically books into the CRM or at least puts the information on a Google Sheet, which then can be transposed into your CRM. And let's face it, when you're acting like that human chatbot, that's literally all you're doing, right? You're just wasting muscles in your mouth, I guess. All right. And then we can build bots who run a checklist and read a script, right? That's all I'm saying here. We can build one, and nowadays it's pretty easy and it's pretty freaking cheap. A lot cheaper than payroll for a CSR. All right. But here's the thing. If I'm paying you, if I'm training you, if I'm giving you a seat at the table, if I'm giving you a space on the call center floor, I'm not asking you to be a bot. I'm not asking you to be a form fill. I'm asking you to be an extension of the brand. When you pick up the phone, you are the company. You are the first impression. You are the safety net. You are the difference. And customers, they know the difference between a rep who's alive and a rep who's phoning it in. Ha, that was a joke. The second you sound robotic, you lost the customer. You become forgettable. Nobody remembers the order taker, but the one who solves problems, the one who makes them feel seen and heard, that's the rep they start asking for by name. That's the rep that brings in revenue. That's the rep that, more importantly, builds loyalty. So, which one are you? I'm going to ask that again. So, here's the thing, soft skills, right? I hate calling them soft skills because for a lot of people, they're hard, right? It's hard to demonstrate empathy. Most people, other than sociopaths, feel empathy. Vocalizing that in a way that someone can feel over the phone where they can't see your facial expressions, they can't see your body language, that's hard. Building value in a product, service, or company, that's hard to do with your voice, right? Building rapport within 7 seconds and then maintaining that rapport throughout the call, that is difficult, especially when people are calling in sometimes a full-on panic mode because literal sewage is coming up from their kid's bathtub. Oh, little Johnny, it's time for your bath. Nope, there's poop. Not cool. So, if you think that the CSR's job is just to book the call, you're already losing this game. Your job is to build value so strong that the caller would feel stupid going anywhere else. So, this ain't retail. They're not walking in smiling with money in their hand. They're calling because something's wrong and they're already stressed. Your energy changes the room, even over the phone. If you sound bored, rushed, tired, or passive, they're gone. And even if they do book with you, they're calling someone else 10 seconds after they get off the phone with you. So you set the tone. Make it warm, make it human, make it sharp, make sure there's a sense of urgency in there. And then here's the thing, right? We have 2 ears, one mouth. So we should be listening twice as much as we should be talking. That's in the Bible somewhere, I think. I I don't know. I'm not a theologian. All right. But most CSRs are waiting for their turn to speak, waiting for their turn to read from the script. But the opportunity makers, the ones that we're talking about here, they're listening to understand. So they let the customers vent when needed to, they let them explain when needed to, and they let them be heard. Now they can say things like, I totally get how frustrating that is. I'm really glad you called us. Let's get this fixed right away. And tell me more about what's going on. You can build connection no matter what. using things like that. You don't have to say those verbatim. In fact, there's nothing in a script that should be repeated verbatim unless it's legal, right? So you want to personalize the call, but you don't want to make it creepy. Okay. You want to use the caller's name at least once or twice. You don't want to say it every paragraph or every sentence. That's weird. People don't talk like that. And if you know someone that talks like that, do me a favor and slap them a little bit, okay? So if you're using the same lines with every caller, stop. Nobody wants to feel like caller number 237 of the day. Use their name, reference what they said. If they're already in your CRM, bring up past calls, bring up past events, right? Welcome back, Joey. So basically, you want to humanize it. That's how you build rapport, is you humanize it. You put in a sense of urgency to their issue because they wouldn't be calling you if they didn't want something taken care of. All right. So talk up the experience, not just the service. Don't just talk about fixing a toilet or flushing the water heater. Talk about your company. Talk about what they're going to expect. They're going to expect things like white glove service, background checked professionals, same day appointments, real time updates, no mess, no stress, just solutions. But when saying those things, make sure that your field technicians can live up to it. Because here's the thing, people pay for experience, not features. You're not selling a repair, you're selling peace of mind. And I know that sounds cliche, okay? Sounds a little cheesy, sounds a little fake, but it's not. When a caller calls in, right? And they will. I mean, obviously, but in this scenario, and they're saying, "Hey, you're like the third company I called, right? So I talked to another company. You can ask them. It's not rude. You can ask them, what did they offer you? Well, how soon did they say they can come out? Do they guarantee their work? Things of that nature. So, and at that point, you're not competing on price. You're winning on confidence. Okay. So yeah, we can beat that. Yeah, let's get someone out there right away. Things of that. So when a caller is frustrated, shopping around, or calling back for the third time, good. That's where you prove what kind of CSR you are. So don't get rattled. Don't get nervous. Don't get flustered. You double down on professionalism, empathy, and certainty. Say, look, I can't speak for what the other companies told you. What I can do is make sure this gets handled the right way by someone you can trust, instantly implying that someone they can trust is your company. All right. When people are in chaos, when people are stressed out, they look for leaders. You need to be the leader in that situation. You need to be the leader in the call. You need to control the call. Call control is absolutely necessary. So here's a problem, and this is the third one I mentioned earlier, right? The people, the CSRs that nail the customer service, that nail the soft skills, that have such a high emotional intelligence that they stop using common sense. All right. So if you go through all that, right? If you build value, if you connect, you understand the issue, and then you leave the next spot blank, right? You don't ask, hey, when would you like us out there? What the hell are you doing? You failed the call, right? See, it doesn't matter how nice the CSR was. It doesn't matter how nice the call was. Could have been a 100% on a QA form, right? If they hang up without booking, you didn't help them. That's one thing that we need to get through our heads. The best way to help someone, to serve someone, is to get them on the schedule, period. So, and you can say this to the customer, the best way I can help is to get you on the schedule today. Boom, right? Not tomorrow, not after they call around, now. To do that, you can say things like, let's get you taken care of. Hey, I've got a spot open today. Let's lock it in. We've helped a lot of folks in your neighborhood. You're in good hands. Stuff like that. All right. So, look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, anyone can answer a phone. It's not hard. But not everyone can lead a customer. Not everyone can start a sale off on the right foot. Not everyone can flip a frustrated homeowner into a loyal client. Not everyone can build value, make people feel safe, and turn service into sales. But you can. You just have to decide what kind of CSR you want to be. So the next time you hear that phone ring or you get a little beep in your ear, remember, you are not an order taker. You are not a chatbot. You are not a form fill. You are the front line of a really good company. You are a revenue driver. You are the experience. You are the brand. So you can ask yourself a couple of questions. And I would recommend listening to your own calls at least once a day. If there's any downtime, listen to a few of your calls, ones that you booked, ones that you didn't book, and ask yourself the following question. Would I hire this person to take calls at my company? The answer to that will tell you everything you need to know about yourself. So, with that said, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, share the show so we can make the show grow. I have merch, I have books, they're all on the link tree down below. And I'll see you next time on CX Riot Radio.